It's one of the biggest problems facing the growing coal seam gas industry, what to do with the enormous amounts of water it drives to the surface. Some gas companies pump it back underground. Others have gone into farming and are using the water to irrigate their land. And one has gone a step further, piping treated water to neighbouring farms and a town on Queensland's Western Downs. But opinions are divided on whether this will improve the sometimes fractious relationship between farmers and miners. Peter McCutcheon reports from Chinchilla in southwest Queensland.
Early summer in Queensland's Western Downs and the rivers are already full. It's a time for irrigators to check their pumps. Cotton grower John Bender has been harvesting floodwaters from the Condamine River for more than 20 years and likes what he sees.
So is this river high enough for harvesting now?
Yes, feeder, that's up to 1.34, over 1.34 metres, which is my water harvesting threshold.
But what would irrigators give to have this sort of water supply guaranteed, even in times of drought? Well, that's what's being offered, not in perpetuity, but for at least the next decade.
Oh, I think the farmers, they've won the lotto.
And this is where the so-called new water is coming from, coal seam gas operations. But the source of the water and novelty of the scheme means that celebrations are tempered. Does it worry you at all this water comes from coal seam gas operations?
Well, when you say that, yes, it does a little bit. It's, I don't know if it's ever been attempted before. This is where it's new water. We've never had this kind of water before.
Do you see that as best practice?
Not particularly. I mean, they class this as new water. We class it as million-year-old water. This is in the ground and in a system for a reason.
Whenever gas is extracted from the coal seam, there's always a byproduct, water. Not just the occasional bucketful, but vast seas. Hundreds of gigalitres could be extracted from wells throughout Queensland and New South Wales each year. And this water is usually salty.
The coal seam gas industry as a whole pretty much is a water industry that has gas as a byproduct.
Drew Wagner is a senior policy officer with the rural lobby group AgForce and a critic of the way coal seam gas operations have been allowed to expand.
They know what to do with their gas, they know how to treat it, they know how to move it, they know how to sell it. What they don't know right now and are still struggling with is what to do with the very large volumes of water they're bringing to the surface.
Well, this is the response of one coal seam gas company, QGC, to this kind of criticism. Just outside the Western Downs township of Chinchilla, what appears to be a space-age industrial city is under construction.
It's part of an investment of about $1 billion that QGC will make in water management, research, modelling, monitoring.
These are not rocket ships, but massive evaporation towers for concentrating the brine once it's been removed from the coal seam gas water by reverse osmosis. QGC has led us here on site, and as you can see, it's an enormous operation, and it's got nothing to do with gas. All of this infrastructure is to do with treating water. And this is an investment that you won't get any return on?
No, we're in that game where we're producing two products, gas and water. We understand that wasting the water is not an option. We want to put it to beneficial use.
After treating the water, QGC sells it at a nominal price to the Queensland utility Sunwater, which is in the final stages of building a 20-kilometre pipeline to the local irrigation weir. There are outlets for irrigators along the pipeline, while the township of Chinchilla will benefit from additional supplies to their town water.
So we effectively drought-proof the township of Chinchilla. They'll have water going through their water treatment plant delivered to their people in the town, so that's great.
Mark Brown is the General Manager of the Sunwater Pipeline Project. Is there a concern that people around here might rely too much on this new water?
Certainly there's a concern, but as I said before, the farmers are aware of the profile. They need to make the decision based on the profile, and we're confident that what we're seeing is good for the community.
Irrigator John Bender agrees the pipeline project is good for business, but perhaps only in the short term.
The contract is still only for 10 years, so you've got to ask yourself what's going to happen in 10 years. Is there going to be more water there or less water, or is it going to run out before the 10 years?
Do you see this as the best option at least?
Well, the best option ultimately is probably leaving it there.
The preferred position of AgForce is for coal seam gas companies to re-inject the water back into the coal seam to avoid disruption of the shallower water tables used by farmers.
Do you at least see this, though, as an attempt to build a bridge between coal seam gas miners and the farming community?
No, I see this as a way for the coal seam gas industry to deal with their water issue by making the farmers responsible for it.
Yes, we do have a right to take water from the coal seams, but with that right comes an obligation to turn that into a product that can be used to someone else's benefit. That's costing us a lot of money. It's not costing the farmers anything. And we're determined to ensure that if we do have an impact on farmers, we will make good that impact.
Many farmers would argue that impact is already being felt, at least in the economic structure of communities that were not so long ago dominated by agriculture. And the pipeline, if nothing else, helps share the benefits of this resource boom.
As long as it's seen as a very short-term good deal, yes, I see there's some benefit there. But like the rest of the boom and bust scenarios that we see with the resource industry, what happens when all this capital is invested in, and then in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years' time, that resource is no longer there locationally?
So do you think it goes some of the way to placating the concerns over coal seam gas?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a hard question. It depends which side of the fence you sit on. Obviously, farmers, as the irrigation farmers, we are going to benefit. But then, you've got to look at the guys that are having impacts from the coal seam gas wells themselves. But overall, I suppose you've got to take the broader outlook that it will be a benefit to the whole community.
Peter McCutcheon reporting.